Welcome to Across the Table podcast. I'm your host, Dionysus, and today we have a special guest, Ogi Vukos. So this is a little unique podcast in the fact that we're going to be talking about real estate. So jump right into it. Ogi, if you and I met, we've obviously met before, but if you and I met at a bar and I asked you what you did, what would you say?
I would tell you that I live the dream, and that's what I do.
Okay.
But a part of that dream is that I help Canadians and American and European investors acquire real estate in Mexico in a very easy way. So it's a seamless process that I created for them to help them live the dream that I live.
Okay.
So maybe to get back to that one sentence,
one sentence, yeah.
It's I sell dreams, and those dreams become reality.
Okay. Nice. As I mentioned, you and I go way back. Full disclosure, you're married to the wife of a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
And
Not to his wife, to his sister.
to his sister. Yes. You weren't always in real estate.
No.
And specifically Mexican real estate. So walk me through that transition. How did that happen? And a little backstory there.
Yeah, so I originally, after graduating from university, I started working in a federal government, and I worked there for almost 20 years,
Okay. Wow.
Also in executive positions.
Okay.
But at the same time, when I started my government career, I started to invest in real estate.
Okay.
And I bought my first apartment as soon as I...
Locally here in Ottawa?
Locally here in Gatineau.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then when I met Daniela, who's my wife now, she had...
Hey, Daniela.
Hey. She had acquired a house in Finley Creek.
Okay.
And then things became more serious in between us. And then we bought an apartment together.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, within like a year, we had three properties in our portfolio.
Yeah.
And then we got married and wanted to have a family. Then we bought a house, and that's how this real estate story started for us.
Okay.
And for as long as I can remember, with good friends of mine, I have been talking about real estate, about, hey, it would be amazing if we could have a building. Hey, imagine if we build here. Look at the lake in Mont Tremblant. Look at this piece of land. So all my conversations were leading to talk about real estate and the opportunities of real estate.
Okay.
So
not just necessarily buying real estate, but development as well.
Developing real estate, and that is still a dream for me that I do want to accomplish, and I'm looking. Every step that I'm taking right now is for that.
Okay,
yes,
nice. We talked about the Mexico. That's your focus right now. So for someone who's never been, walk me through a day in the life in Mexico where you work, like where you are.
So the important thing, like just for the audience and everyone that's gonna listen to this podcast, I live in the state of Yucatan, in the capital called Mérida.
Okay.
It's a city in the Yucatecan Peninsula, 20 minutes away from the ocean, from the beach, and it is the second safest city in all of America.
Okay.
That has a population that is above 500,000 people after Quebec City.
Okay.
So I will answer your question, and let's have this.
Okay. Before I get started, I hear it. How many languages do you speak?
I speak 4 languages.
Okay.
So my mother tongue is Serbian.
Okay.
When my parents immigrated to Canada in '95, and I was 11 at the time. We lived at that time was called Hull. Yeah. Now it's all Gatineau. So the first language that I learned here was French. Okay. Then English was kind of, I learned English very late I learned English in my 20s. Okay. Because I was like in a French environment. School was in French. I did not learn English till my 20s, and actually, my wife will always say that she fell for my broken English, right? I made her laugh. Nice. So, and then I learned Spanish I learned Spanish. Daniela, my wife, she's Mexican, and she always spoke to our kids in Spanish. So I got to understand Spanish, I would say, to 80% before we moved to Mexico. And I was able, when I got there, I was able to get around, like to ask for things like, I couldn't get lost. I could, simple things, order food, go to stores and ask simple things, but not to have a conversation as we're having right now.
Yeah.
Then the thing that I did is, I remembered coming to Canada. Number one thing, if you do not know the language of the country that you're living in, it could be very difficult, especially for what I wanted to do. I did not go there to retire, well, kinda, but we'll get to that as well.
Okay.
But I went there to start a new life and we had a chance to start over. And maybe to tie everything up what we talked, the real estate is what got us and permitted us to be able to live this dream that we are living now. Because we kind of sold a lot of our real estate at the peak in 22.
Okay.
And now we had a chance to, probably people from my former colleagues are going to watch this. But I had a chance to do something that I really love and I'm passionate about.
You can hear it in your voice.
So now the real estate got us there, and for me, it was important to learn the language because I know if you, once I got there, there's tons of expats, okay? So you can get by never learning Spanish, having friends, spending your days with foreigners.
Now, is that specifically to where you are, or would you say overall?
I would say Southeast Mexico.
Yeah.
It is like that.
Okay.
But I didn't want that because I wanted to learn more about the culture. I wanted to integrate myself, and without the language, that was impossible. So the first thing I did is I had private classes 3 times a week for 2 hours, and then I looked for Mexican friends. So I wanted to speak Spanish. Yeah. So I started playing soccer in a fully Mexican team, where at the beginning, I would like to explain a play or something that we could do. I was like, but I couldn't. I realized, okay, now it's no longer una cerveza por favor. Now you need to talk a little bit more, right? So I put myself in this position where, again, I went from, and I think what helped me is that at 11 I learned French. So at the beginning, you're learning language, you're making mistakes, whatever. Then English was later. So for me now, picking up another language and making mistakes, I don't care.
Right.
What I want is that you and I can have a conversation and you understand what I want to say. So that's what I did. Nice. I to the point where now I take business meetings fully in Spanish. And
wow, well done, man.
Yeah.
Well done. You just educated me in terms of the southern part of Mexico in terms of expats. What would you say are some of the biggest myths associated with Mexico?
I'll get to that. Yeah. Let me just get back to the life in Mérida.
Okay.
I think this is an important, I think it's going to uncover some myths and it's going to make people discover what life in Mexico is.
Okay.
So, and one thing that I sell is not, and I always tell people, and it is the hardest part to sell. It's easy to say, look, this is a beautiful home, has granite counters, has marble floors, has a huge pool. That's easy to sell. Anyone can do that. And the hardest thing for me when I talk to, because my clients are 99% foreigners, it's to sell the lifestyle. Okay? And I can tell you a little bit about the lifestyle that I live there. One difference in between, I would say, North American lifestyle in Mexico is the time that you have for yourself, for your family, quality time that you spend. So, and I always call it, there's the American dream. In the American dream, you will acquire everything, all materials that you can, but you won't have that much time to enjoy all of that. The Mexican dream is different. You are maybe not going to acquire 100% of things that the American dream will let you have, but you're going to have quality, more than enough, and then you're going to have a bunch of free time to enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, your and everything. Like my everyday starts with waking up, stretching, driving my kids to school, and then I come back and then I do sports every day. So, and that's not just for me. I live in a gated community, and that gated community, and we'll get to that, is not for security reasons, is more for luxury reasons. And I do live, when I said I live a dream, I'm gonna be honest, I do live a luxury life there.
Okay.
At a very good cost.
Okay.
So I start my day by going to the clubhouse. Our neighborhood has a clubhouse, so I'll either go to the gym, I might play tennis, I might play paddle with friends, I might be swimming, and everyone from the neighborhood, not everyone, but a lot of people from the neighborhood will come to the clubhouse in the morning to exercise, and that's where you're networking, talking with people, and all of that. And this is where the American dream, you'll wake up and go to work as soon as possible, where in the Mexican dream, well, you're gonna wake up and take care of your health, let's say.
So what I'm hearing is, I guess, would that be a large community gathering without really creating it? Just people just coming in, working out, doing their thing, and that fosters the community feel?
Yeah, that's what will be, and that's where you create contacts, right? And then kind of you finish, you exercise for 2 hours, you go have a breakfast, I have coffee with my wife, we talk, have breakfast, shower, then I go to work. Okay? And I do that all the way until I have to go pick up my kids. So yeah, I do sometimes when we have clients. I have to sometimes I work 10 hours per day, but my days are usually not. I get to do everything that I need to do in those hours, and then the quality of life and services that you can afford there is incredible. I mean, the only tool that I have in my house is a screwdriver. Okay, like again, I'm gonna be fully transparent. I do not do anything over there. Like I have someone that comes washes our cars every Tuesday. So this is not just car washing. They detail your car. They spend 3 hours there for 2 cars. They're usually 2 or 3 guys with tip. That cost me $20. Okay, then we have a cleaning lady that comes twice a week. She works for about 6 to 7 hours. Cleans the entire house. My driveway when she leaves smells like lavender. And she costs $25.
Okay.
There's a pool guy, there's the gardener, there's all these services that are available to you that are affordable, right? So then all of a sudden you are spending more quality time. Okay. You're less stressed because, okay, let's be honest, who loves to wash their car? Right? Maybe you like to wash it in May when the spring is there and you're like, okay, I'm going to wash my car, but after, do you want to wash it every week? No. And you don't have time. And then those become, so chores disappear in Mexico. Okay. And then then obviously the weather, the gastronomy, everything is more affordable. The weather, we're talking about, the weather is nice. Mérida is sunny 350 days in a year. Okay. So all of that builds a quality lifestyle that, and sometimes at the beginning I was calling friends, because I was excited about my new life. I just realized that I was no longer stressed, that the stress levels dropped. Right. First I said, okay, this is because I see sun every single day. It's sunny. And we just, I think before we got here, we were talking about the weather and how like it was to me. Now it's the 3rd summer I come to spend here in Canada with family and friends, and I was saying, okay, people say it's been hot, and I've been saying this is the best summer ever I spent here. Like I've been here for 5 weeks. Yeah. It rained like for 3 days. It was sunny every day, and I'm like, wow, it was great. And I took advantage of that to do things that I don't do in Mérida, like the bike paths here that are beautiful, and you can go bike forever. And so I'm like, so all of that, the first the weather and everything else, the chores that disappeared, and now you're spending time with your kids, and you don't have things at the back of your head. Oh,
you're present with your kids because you're not worrying about, exactly. Oh, I got to clean the car. Oh, I got to cut the lawn. I got to get dinner ready. I got to do all those things, type of things.
And I have to say this, and we'll close this question with that, is obviously it's a different culture, right? Like, even though it's a different culture for my wife as well. Like, she was born in Washington, she lived in Canada almost all her life. Now it's first time for her living in Mexico. It's you're no longer going on vacation, right? So, and I'm happy this happened to me in the first weeks, and this is where I realized, okay, I need to adapt to Mexico. Mexico is not going to adapt to me. 140 million people are not all of a sudden say, oh, maybe we should live like Ogi, you know? No, they're, you know, so you need to adapt. And what happened, it's funny. There's a gardener in the neighborhood, and I asked him to come cut my grass. And he told me, ahorita, which means right now, in a bit, you know. So, and you gotta get the ahorita term is the funny one, because everyone says ahorita in Mexico. All it means is that they will do it. Maybe they will, maybe they will not, but usually they'll do it. When? The ahorita, which means like in a bit, it's not in a bit. I can tell you that. So I don't know where I went, and I called Daniela and I said, hey, the gardener is going to come to cut our grass. And she's like, oh, okay. So whatever. I go to grocery shopping, and I don't know. And I come back and I'm like, oh, where was Juan? And she's like, oh, he didn't come. So he doesn't come that day. I see him the next day. I'm like, hey, Juan, you didn't come to cut our grass. He's like, oh, I'm going to come this afternoon. Long story short, he doesn't come that afternoon. He comes the next day and cuts my grass. And I said, like, did I need to be stressed that he did not cut my grass on Tuesday, but he cut it on Thursday? What did really happen in my life? So here in North America, like Mexico is North America, but I want to take United States, Canada. We expect things to happen when we want them.
Right.
Like, I need this right now.
Yeah.
Well, no one's going to die. You need to relax a little bit. Things are going to get done. They don't, and I live it. Things do not need to be necessarily done at the moment you want them.
Right.
Because nothing's going to happen. Yeah. And that helped me to integrate myself in the culture. I realized, okay, the grass was cut. It's nice. It's all good. So that is the lifestyle, you know, and that's the dream. And yeah.
So that sounds appealing. I'm not going to lie there. What are some of the biggest myths?
There are quite few myths when it comes down to Mexico, and I think the biggest one is that it's a poor country, and it actually is not. It's a rich country. Closing 2024, Mexico was the 11th economy in the world. It's a big country, and there's a lot of people. Yes, there's poverty. Let's not lie. There's people that are poor there, but happy, and I can tell you about that as well. They are happy. Mexicans in general are happy people, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of money. There is usually a lot of, when people buy houses, they buy them cash. They don't take out mortgages. People have businesses. People live really well. And I can tell you, I lived permanently in Canada for 27 years. I never met billionaires here, but I have met them in Mexico, and quite a few. And so that's the biggest myth. And then that myth continues where everything is maybe better here than there, and that is not true. Okay. Like, just if we talk about hospitals, okay, healthcare. Healthcare in Mexico is first class. It's private hospitals are 5-star hotels, and I'm not joking. I've been to one, unfortunately, had some stomach issues. I could not believe about the service I got, and I went to emergency, and I thought it was going to cost me like
an arm and a leg.
It cost me $400. Okay. But the insurance for and at that time I did not have a private insurance because I don't know, I didn't think about it.
Right, you weren't aware.
I wasn't aware, but then once I learned that it's $2,000 for my entire family for a full year with full coverage, I said, wow, this is amazing. So I think that's the biggest myth, that things are that Mexico is poor, that everything is not of quality, or worse than here, or in other what we consider developed countries.
Now, on a side, is this something you educate your clients on as foreigners in terms of the process when you're working with them?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. So, and this is the thing, like, I do believe that small details make the big difference at the end. And how I got into real estate, we knew going there that we were gonna do something in real estate. We just didn't know what exactly, and we wanted to take some time off. It was an opportunity for my wife and I to, kind of semi-retire at 37, and we wanted to take that opportunity. That did not last too long, but it was a time that we took to reflect on what is it that we want to do. And like, this is probably the most time I spend in my life, like, having conversations with myself. Hey, what is that I want to do? What is it where I differentiate myself from other people? And that's a really interesting conversation to have with yourself.
Right.
Because you cannot do that. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to take a weekend, I'm going to go to a cottage somewhere, I'm going to think about this, and I'm going to come back on Monday and I'm going to
Have an answer.
No, it takes months of reflection. And for me, it was really, I was always good with numbers. Okay, so I thought, okay, I'm good with numbers. Maybe that's something where I could use that, leverage that. And I said, no, that's a skill that you can acquire. You can hire someone to do that. No, that's not a thing. Numbers, forget about the numbers. And then one thing that I said, it's like, I really know a lot of people, and for me to make a contact is just a second nature for me. To strike a conversation with a complete stranger in the street and spend an hour talking to them, I can do it at any point. So I said, okay, this is like, I know a lot of people, and this is something that I have a big network, and I love this. Like, to me, I can speak for 10 hours a day, right? So I said, okay, this is what I need to leverage, because and everything, I think, after that, like, now artificial intelligence is way more developed than 3 years ago when I was having these thoughts. And I think, like, the future is this social skills.
Right.
That's where the future is. So yeah, the machine might be able to sell you things, probably will, but it's going to be I think people that will be able to have high social skills, be able to talk with other people. I think that's where we're, maybe in 10, 15 years, that those are the people that are going to have yeah.
I get the question often enough, and I think part of it is the increase that we see on social media with the appeal of Mexico. Hey, I'm in Mexico. This is my lifestyle. It doesn't go in depth to it. Me as myself, I'm a residential mortgage broker. I focus only in on Canada. Walk me through, like, what would be the process? So I come to you and I say, you know what? I'm ready to buy. My family and I are ready to buy a property or land. Like, what does that process look like? And how is it different than Canada, the US?
Yeah, I would say it's very different.
Okay.
Because now it's global real estate market, and it's very different. Let's say you lived all your life in Ottawa and you want to go live in Barrhaven. You know everything about Barrhaven.
Right.
Now someone's just going to help you find the right house. Okay. Now you're going to a country that is foreign to you, city that is foreign to you, culture that is foreign to you, everything is foreign to you, and that's the biggest challenge for buyers. And that's where we come in to bridge that gap in between what their dream is, where they are right now, and to make that happen.
Okay.
So everything's about the destination for me, right? So first of all, they need to like the destination. They need to like the culture. Once they see that and they love the place, then we talk about their real estate needs. So what are their real estate needs? Are they retiring and they want a luxury house? Are they investors that want to use this 2 months a year? Or are they they want to have a long-term investment. What real estate product is the right one for them?
Okay.
So that's kind of where we start. And obviously explaining this lifestyle a little bit, not a little bit, in depth. And I try to keep it as short as possible. And I'm sure we're going to come back to that. But it's to understand the destination, try to explain the culture also, and show them the benefits. Not everything is a benefit, let's be honest, right? There's no perfect place on the planet. There's some things that work better here than there, and vice versa, right? So then once we understand their needs, and I think it's super important, and I think like you're in business with, you're a mortgage broker, and what I see is people want to sell you a product instead of listening to what you want, what you need, right? And it's to understand people's needs and then help them get there, and give them the right information at the end of the day, right? I might like a certain thing that you don't, and vice versa. Yeah. So that's probably the number one step. Then what we really do and what we focus on is, okay, you like the destination, maybe it's Mérida, you want to be in Yucatan, maybe it's the Riviera Maya, you're younger, you want to go to Playa del Carmen, you like Tulum, so we establish that. Then and now we have a real estate property that you're looking for. Then the third thing is to work with reputable developers. Okay? We, Square Capital, the company where I'm a partner, I have a Mexican partner who's a lawyer. In our inventory, we have like 400 properties. Okay? We do not sell 400 properties to foreigners. Okay? It's different when a Mexican buyer, we were talking earlier, okay, Ottawa, you want to go to Barhaven, and now your real estate agent is going to help you find the house. Right. So if a Mexican client comes to us, I do not personally deal with them. It's my partner and someone from my team. So they say, okay, I want to live in that neighborhood, Mérida. Like that price suits me. I want to buy from that builder. Okay, every time what we do is we make sure that all the legal aspects of the project are checked. Okay. And that's super important in Mexico, like super important. Because over there, anyone can be a builder. Okay? They can buy land and they can start developing. But that doesn't mean that development is going to ever be finished or see the daylight, right? So our job is to make sure that all the legal aspect for a project checks all the boxes, that they got all the permits, that the land is in their name, that it's in a bank trust, all of that. Okay. So for our foreign buyers, we mostly work with 3 big companies, and I'm going to name them. They're going to be happy about that probably. Desur is one of them. At the beginning, this company worked a lot in Playa del Carmen and that area. They are from Yucatan, but that's where they developed their business. Sure. And as Yucatan and Mérida started to be more and more popular, they also now operate there. Simca is another one. Simca is probably the biggest builder out there. They have the most projects. They have the biggest portfolio, that is for sure. Okay. There are 2 brothers. Desur is one brother. Simca is another brother with different partners in the company. And we do sell their products. And the third one is Boma. Boma is a sister company from Immobilia, and Immobilia is the biggest developer in all Latin America. They are on the stock exchange market. They are a public company. And Boma is like a sister company where it's a private company, and they develop. Okay. So these are kind of the 3 companies we work with, and with those 3 we cover all the segments of what a buyer can do. Okay. So and then we take them, right? We take them to see the properties, explain everything, and then there's the whole legal aspect of when you purchase.
That's one of the things people are, myself included, would be worried about, is like legal protection. You kind of touched on that, but I guess what does that entail in terms of, we work together, I'm giving you money. You had mentioned that, sometimes it goes in a trust, and what does that look like?
So the good thing is that to be owner in Mexico within 50 kilometers from the coast or 100 kilometers from a border as a foreigner, you need to buy the property through a bank trust.
Okay.
Okay, so a bank trust has a fee. The initial fee is about $2,000 to set up the trust, and then it has a yearly fee that is depending on the exchange rate, but let's say in between $700 and $800.
Okay.
Okay, so why is this good? Because now you have a bank and bank lawyers that are going to look into the project that you are buying as a foreigner, and that project needs to be bulletproof legally for it to be put in a trust.
Okay.
Okay? In Mexico, they work exactly like in Quebec. What they did, they called the Napoleon law. So they just copied the civil law from the French, and that's what it's used. So for me, who lived in Quebec...
You're familiar with it.
Yeah, I was super familiar with it. So with the notaries and everything. So when a client comes to us, as I said, we are already the products that we are selling to them. We already know the companies checked all the marks on the legal aspect.
Okay.
Now, if we are closing on a deal, we go through a bank trust, we go through a notary, everything is notarized, everything's signed, and your bank trust, you're an owner of the bank trust, you can sell it, you can rent, like your property, you can rent it, you can sell it, you can pass it down to your kids, and yeah. So
Okay.
you are very protected in that aspect. So sometimes people say, oh yeah, but the trust, I need to pay $700 a year. Yeah, but that trust also protects you, right? So I want to touch a little bit on the cost, because we just said there's a cost of $700 a year, but your property taxes are going to be $350 a year on a luxury home,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So let's say 3,000 square feet house in a private neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if you pay in January, they'll give you a 10% discount, and if you have solar panels, they'll give you another 15% discount.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of property values, obviously in terms of Canada, North America, it's an advantageous asset class, right? Because we see and we know there'll be appreciation. How do property values in Mexico stack up to Canada in terms of expected appreciation year over year? Is it similar to that in Canada, or is it more, this is my property, this is my house, I'm not necessarily going to leverage it the way I do in Canada and North America, well, the U.S.?
Like the appreciation, let's just compare it to the appreciation is greater.
Okay.
Why the appreciation is greater? Because the inflation is higher. Okay, it's simple as that. Like that's something that to borrow money there, like to do a project, it's going to cost you 15%. Okay, interest rate, annual interest rate.
Okay.
So think about it. Now someone is borrowing money at 15% to make a project, to make a profit, right? So, and the bank, if you just put the money, if you take your money, put it in the bank, you have a 10% annual. Okay, so when we talk about real estate, that's where the math, just adding those two numbers, you are looking. I always say to people, I like to be super ultra conservative when it comes down to appreciation, but a 15% in Mexico yearly is a given.
Okay.
Okay. For example, the biggest mistake that we made, we didn't only do good things, we made a couple of mistakes along the way, and that's how we learned, is not buying a house when we got there. We bought other things. We bought a lot of land. We bought an apartment on the beach that is going to be ready hopefully by next year, that appreciated by like 70% in 3 years. The land we bought appreciated also by a lot. But we did not buy a house. And at the time when we arrived 3 years ago, in Canadian dollar was much stronger, was at 16 pesos per dollar. Today, I think it's exchanging at 13.60, but it went down to 11.99 at one point. At that time, we could buy a house, 3,000 square feet house for about $275,000, like luxurious home. Okay, now
Canadian or US?
Canadian.
Okay.
Canadian, yeah. And now today we're looking at like, for that same house, we are looking at like closer to 400,000, you know.
Okay.
And some houses, like I remember we were in a neighborhood, it was a townhouse, but like a big townhouse. I think it was around just a little bit under 200,000. And that almost doubled,
Wow.
you know. So this is to give you the appreciation. But do people leverage their homes as much as in Canada to go get credit or things like that? No, I did not see it.
Okay.
Not as much as here. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. You spoke a little bit about parts of Mexico. What are the hotspots for investors right now, would you say?
I would say Mérida and the Yucatecan coast is the hot spot. So, you know, Jeff Bezos said that. He said that when you're in business, you want to get. It's like surfing. I'm paraphrasing him. So it's like surfing. You want to be on your board before the wave comes. If you are waiting for the wave to come and then you try to get on the board, well, you're probably going to fall off, right? So I would say that Mérida, we are not at the beginning of the wave, but we are still at the early stages. And the Yucatecan coast, I would say we are at the beginning of the wave, right? And how do we see that? So 3 hours from there, we have Playa del Carmen, Cancun. Everyone in Canada is familiar with that, with Tulum, right? Playa del Carmen was established only in 1998. By 2014, it was the fastest growing city in the world. Wow. Okay, and now when we go to Playa del Carmen, it's a fully developed city. Okay, Tulum was only established in 2008. By 2016, was the fastest growing city in the world. And now in a span of 2 years, you had two cities in Mexico that are 30 minutes from each other that were the fastest growing cities in the world. So what happened? There was a strong demographic growth in that area. Let me backtrack. I would call that like when we're talking about hotspots and investment, it's a two-step investment that I look at. First, it's supported by the demographic growth. Okay. And Mérida right now is the fastest growing city in Mexico. Okay, in terms of its demographics. Okay. And then what happened in the Mayan Riviera is that then you had the high tourism. And then those two things were a perfect combination for real estate to take off.
To take off, okay.
Right? So to close on the tourism part is 3 years ago, Cancun had 3 terminals. Then they built a 4th terminal that had a capacity of the terminal 1, 2, 3 together. Wow. Okay? And they went from having 17 million tourists a year to 29 in 2 years.
2 years. Wow.
In 2 years.
Wow.
Okay? And now we have an international airport in Tulum. So now we're going to wait for stats to see.
Do I know what those numbers are?
What those numbers are. There's an international airport in Mérida. When we got there, they had international flights from Houston, Miami, and Toronto. Okay. And now it's from almost 10 cities in the world. So, and also, the important thing in real estate is to say, follow the money. Okay? What we are seeing there is the big government investments in infrastructure in Southeast Mexico. So,
unlike Ottawa.
Yeah. The highway was completely revamped from Mérida to Cancun. It's a beautiful highway. It takes you 3 hours to get there. The fast train was built It's called Tren Maya, Mayan train. The 20 minutes from Mérida is the closest beach. It's called Progreso. It's a town. Progreso that has a boardwalk that they copied exactly Ocean Drive, exactly, and they built that. The government built that. Why did they do that? Is they wanted to have Disney cruise to come to Progreso. And one of the demands of Disney was okay, you need to renovate this boardwalk. So the government did. Now, it's the longest port in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, the port of Progreso is the longest port of the world. I think it's 10 or 11 kilometers long.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, as you can imagine, the cargoes that come there, there's a lot of cargo and trucks and everything. All that was going through Progreso, through the streets of this town and damaging the streets and everything. So now what the government did is now all those trucks are going to get out of the port and connect directly to the highway. They're going to pass above the town and going to connect directly to the highway. And then the fast train Maya is going to come somewhere, I'm not 100% sure, but let's say no further than 10 kilometers from the port. And this is what we are seeing nearshoring, we're seeing foreign investment. Heineken just invested billions of dollars. They are building their biggest brewery in Latin America in Mérida, in Canacín, maybe 15 minutes from where I live.
So
Mérida is the hotspot.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of investors, when they're buying properties, they look for those decisions that you just made, right? The governmental infrastructure, the private firms that are coming in like a Heineken. In your opinion, if I were to invest in Mérida, would it be a short-term Airbnb or would it be beneficial or more advantageous for like a long-term? Because those are the questions that I hear often. It's like, well, do I buy something, hold, or am I getting a short-term Airbnb? Like what's the best ROI for an individual in Canada who says, you know what, I want to be in Mexico long-term, but I know not right now. How would you, if I came to you and said that, how would you present that to me?
Okay, let's play that scenario and let's say that you had a budget and money was no problem. Okay, can we do?
Okay. Well, no. Let's use your experience. Like, what would you say is the average that someone comes to you and says, I have, $100,000, I have $250,000, I have. What is it like? What would you say that is that average?
I'm gonna tell you that most of my clients buy land.
Okay.
Okay, and if you and these are people our age. So what happens is that first, it's a good investment. Buying land is good because God ain't making any more, and you're not going to lose money investing in land.
Right.
Okay. So now let's just explain a little bit investing in land in Mexico, because it's different. Because when I started selling that concept here in Canada, it was super foreign to people, and they did not understand it. What a developer does in Mérida, they develop a neighborhood. They are not going to build houses, okay? They are going to develop the infrastructure in your neighborhood. So it's all about the amenities that they are going to build in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm going to speak about a specific one. It's called Hacienda Quictail.
Okay.
And this is a neighborhood where I'm going to build my house.
Okay.
Okay. So what does the builder do? They pave the streets. They build parks, maybe a little bit like what the city does here, but in a private gated community.
Okay.
And now they build a clubhouse with amenities. For example, in Hacienda Quictail, you're gonna have a restaurant, you're gonna have a bar, you're gonna have a daycare, you're gonna have a teens club, spa, soccer field, multiple paddle courts, tennis courts, 7 different parks throughout the project. Each phase, it's 600 lots, and it's divided in 7 phases. Each phase has a huge park. Like in phase 1, you have a basketball court, you have a playground for kids, you have a barbecue area,
Wow.
yeah, you have a jungle gym. Like
And this is all taken care of by the developer.
by the developer, yes. So now they are delivering you the neighborhood, the land, They bring the infrastructure. They're going to bring up to your lot electricity, water, and the clubhouse and everything. Everything that all the infrastructure that the neighborhood needs. Okay. It's gated. You have private security 24/7. Again, in Mérida, it's not for safety purposes. It's more for the luxury purpose.
Okay.
And the earlier you get into a project, buying land, more money you're making. When they start selling land in, like, there's always, project starts with friends and family. They are barely or maybe not even covering the cost of what it's going to cost them. So, but they're not going to, it's going to be a limited, like, let's say they're going to sell 20 lots or 25, 40, depending on the size of the project. So the earlier you get in the project, the more money you make. And depending on the project, but let's say always, when they sell 10 lots, the price is going up by at least 5%. Okay? And this is how they ensure that the value of their investors is growing. Obviously, once the neighborhood is developed and it's ready for people to build their homes, now that's where land is worth the most. Okay? So 80% of my clients do this, and I do this as well in there, because I saw people in Mérida, like when I got there, yes, there's a lot of foreigners, but there's also like Mexican foreigners that came to live in Mérida. So Mérida, maybe what put Mérida on the map is in 2019, there was the first time it was by CEO World that the safest cities in the world were ranked. And like people in Mexico looked at the study and they saw Mérida and they said, wow, Mérida. They all know, okay, it's in Yucatan, whatever. But then people with businesses and money that live in Mexico City, that's a city that, it's a beautiful city, packed with 30 million people. It's crazy, right? So traffic, space, everything's crazy. And now you go to Mérida where like, you have all the infrastructure and everything, but you have a lot of space. There's no traffic. There's no crime. So people started coming there, right? So a lot of these people from Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, people that came with money, were buying land. So I saw in my neighborhood, like that first year when I was figuring things out, I saw people, I'm selling. I bought 3 years ago a lot in that project. Now the project's done. I'm selling it. Like, how much did you? Oh, I'm selling it for 3 times more than what I paid. I'm like, wow, what, 3 years ago? Like, wow, how's that possible, right? So then I also started doing that. So as early as you get into a project. So to me, that's a really good product for an investor. Yeah. For sure, it does not generate passive income. No. You have to wait. Right. But a rental unit, you don't even have to think about it. Safe bet is your rent is going to bring you 7% annual. 7%
annual. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As we wrap up here, just a couple of rapid fire questions. What's one thing people can't find out about you on Google?
Well, you touched on that. I speak several languages, but in 2007 I was in Serbia, and for people that don't know, Serbia has one of the biggest music festivals called Exit, and I partied with Snoop Dogg privately.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Privately? Yeah. I won't ask. I won't ask. Favorite quote or book that you would recommend everyone should read?
So favorite quote is from a French rap group called I Am, and I'll say it in French, translated in English. It's La patience est un arbre dont la racine est amère et le fruit doux, which translates to patience is a tree whose root is bitter, but whose fruit is sweet.
Okay, that's deep.
Yeah.
You're stuck on an island. You can only bring 3 things. What are you bringing?
That's a tough one, You're stuck.
People aren't an option. People are not an option.
People are not an option. I think I'll definitely bring a soccer ball.
Okay.
Okay. I would bring a Kindle with endless books,
I like it.
okay, and a knife.
Okay.
So the soccer ball, I would need to have some fun, and I can use it in the water, outside of water, exercise and everything. Then I could continue educating myself and work the brain, and then knife for survival purposes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it. You did some soul searching. If you weren't in real estate right now, what would you be doing?
I don't know if I would be doing that, but if I wasn't in real estate, and again, sorry to my federal government colleagues, but I think my other dream is I would love to be a sports journalist.
Okay.
Like if I would to another career is to be a sport journalist, work on TV or a radio show. Yeah, I love soccer. I love hockey. I love tennis. I mean, I love sports in general. Yeah.
Speaking of tennis, Joker, Federer, Sampras, who are you picking?
For sure, Joker. Right? For sure. I mean,
I knew it.
You know, he's my brother, my Serbian brother,
I know.
and but the numbers prove it. He beat. I always say, him and Federer played 50 sometimes, and Djokovic beat him way more than he lost. And but speaking of tennis, that's a thing I picked up in Mexico. Like,
really?
Oh my God, I play 4 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I have lessons twice a week. I should have got into lessons way before, but they're kind of expensive here and much cheaper over there. But I play, I have 2 lessons a week. I play for sure 1 match, sometimes 2. I go to tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
have a lot of fun playing tennis.
Selfish question here. What are the golf courses like?
There is not a lot, but there's good. One project, which is made by Immobilia, it's the most luxurious project in Mérida. It's called the Yucatan Country Club.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the first projects when we were house hunting. When we first went to explore, my wife and I, in 2022, and our kids, if we would like this city and, if we would like to live there, we went to see a house in the Yucatan Country Club. And within 1 minute that we entered the neighborhood, my wife said, I want to live here. And I was like, yeah, everyone wants to live here. The golf course is Jack Nicklaus designed. Okay. There was PGA tournaments on that golf course. It's a spectacular neighborhood. So that golf course is absolutely amazing. There's newer golf courses that are being developed. There's a project called Provincia by Simca and Gran Provincia. They are the first. So right now you have 9 holes that you can play. They're developing the other 9, and this one's under the light, so you can golf.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I mean Mérida is very hot, so when you can golf without the sun hitting you, it's. Yeah. And there's another golf course there, and then you have other golf courses in the Mayan Riviera.
Okay, I know you as a social guy, so I'm curious on this question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Maybe we talked a little bit about this, is invest where the growth is happening, not where the crowd already is. So I would say that, and then trust yourself. I think often trust yourself, and trust your dreams, that's a cliche, but believe in yourself. I think my father always told me, you do not expect someone else to do things for you. Trust in what you can do. Right? So, sometimes you talk to people, friends, family, and, you might have dreams and they tell you you dream too big, but I think that any person, if they put their mind to it, can achieve great things.
Nice. I agree with you. Knowing what you know now, is there anything you do differently?
Yes, many things. Many things. I can tell you that one thing that I would do, and I every week I talk with my kids about this. I would start a business way earlier in my life. Okay. First of all, probably at university. I think if there's younger audience that's going to listen to this, or their parents are going to listen to this is what I would say. When you're in university and you have friends in university, start a business together. Okay? If it fails, who cares?
Right.
You know? And if it doesn't, well, you are 100 steps ahead of everyone.
I agree. Yeah.
Because what is your risk at that time? You don't have family, you don't have kids, you don't worry about too many things. And this is the time, like, you're maybe careless at that age, you're gonna take more risk, but that can pay off.
It will pay off, yeah.
Right? So that's something that I would do if knowing what I know, that's what I would do. And I tell my kids every week, I don't care what you're gonna do in life. Like, my parents were very strict, like with my sister and I, we had to go to university. Okay? There was no question about not going to university. Right. I do not care if my kids go to university or not. What I want them is to get an education in the field that they want to work. So if they want to be, I have a daughter that's in gymnastics. If she wants to open a gymnastics club, well, she'll need to go finish to be in sports education, in training, and to get the education that she needs for that. And what I tell them every week is, have your own business, okay? And take all of these smart kids and make them work for you and make them make you money, okay? So that is one thing that I would do. Maybe, and I think we are not educated about that at all. Not here, not in Mexico, not anywhere.
Right.
You know, I think the educational system is made for us to study, learn how to work, and go work, get a job.
Right.
Okay? And one thing that I would do is, like, I would hire those good people. I would hire the best students in university to work for me. Because if someone is paying you, let's make it simple, if someone's paying you $100,000, it's because you are bringing more than $100,000. And as great minds say, it's better to make 10% of 100% of someone's work than to make 100% of the 100% of your work.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We'll leave that there. So where can people find you?
They can find me, the easiest way to find me, it's on WhatsApp. Okay? If WhatsApp would go down for 3 days, Mexico would collapse. Okay? Everything's done by WhatsApp. So that is the easiest way. My Canadian number is 819-328-8664. We'll leave that for our guests. Yeah. And by email, augie@squarecapital.mx. And I also have my Mexican phone number. So those are the easiest way to find me. Yeah.
Augie, thank you. Thank you for giving us some light, and I enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed this. All right, we'll see you in the next one.